Now they're ready to go. I didn't know he was going right away.
Yeah. It doesn't look that bad, Craig. Doesn't look that bad.
All right, and just like that, practice is over. We missed our 2-minute warning there. PBA50 Jonesboro Southwest Super Open. Stepladder final starting right here. Opening match. Pete Weber, Tom Adcock. Craig Elliott with Tom Hess here on the call. Good evening, Tom. Thanks for joining us here in the booth.
You're welcome, Craig. Thanks for allowing me. A couple of PBA50 National Tour winners taking aim at each other here in our opening match.
Actually, they were kind of back-to-back winners, right? Pete won in Sterling, Virginia, and then the next week, Tom won in the Villages. So two players at the top of the game right now, here towards the end of the summer, early fall. Winner gets Mike Bailey out of Carlton, Texas. Chris Barnes is the second seed out of Denton. And our tournament leader, we've said this a few times this year, John Janowitz out of Winter Haven, Florida.
Yeah, it should be an exciting show tonight. Be interesting to see how these lanes were oiled. Going on a couple hours ago, so they've been sitting
like
for
noon,
a little bit.
yeah.
So be interesting to see what differences the players find as this pair has sat for a while.
So we've got our snacks. Hopefully you all got your snacks. Your football games are over, or you pause and record them. We're watching live bowling right here. We're going to have a super regional title, this $10,000 winner here this afternoon in Jonesboro.
Yeah, Tom. Boy, I wonder if he missed in or if that's just hooking a little more than he thought. Back-to-back 3-6-10s.
I watched a couple of his practice shots. Looked like he was kind of lined up. Was that still the exponent with some shine? No, he went to the, that's
still the eternity pie, yeah. Interesting that most of the day today when I watched Tom, he was throwing a summit. So he's obviously, to make a ball change at this time, he obviously sees something just a little bit different.
Well, I think some of this comes into what he saw the last round after the lane sat for a while. They got a little bit flatter, and he just saw that they were a little bit tighter down lane for him. He's trying to figure out how to try to get a little bit of room down there. Of course, Pete Weber starts with a strike, looking for an early double, an early lead over here. Back-to-back 7 spares for Adcock.
Yeah, Pete's still throwing that gem. He's been throwing that ball all day.
It's interesting, you know, we were talking a little bit about your Hall of Famer's tricks. And one of Pete's tricks is he can always seem to throw a big ball when other people can't. Even with his slower speed, it's just his roll, his touch, right? It lets him just get the ball, float through the front, and he can throw more aggressive equipment a lot of times when other guys have to ball down.
Yeah, his axis rotation allows Pete to get that ball through the front of the lane so easy. Probably the best touch ever.
You're not going to find many people argue that.
I think Pete's the most physically gifted to ever put his hand in a bowling ball. You know, but when it comes to touch, you know, it's Pete Weber, Norm Duke, Earl Anthony. Those guys were it's about as good as it comes with the touch. Pete with the opening turkey.
Nice little crowd here behind us here at Hijinks Entertainment in Jonesboro for the Stepladder Finals.
Tom, there you go. Yeah, how about the job that Stacy and her staff did? Corinne and Amber and Megan, of course, general manager Kelly Stevens. Gosh, they took such good care of us all week long. As a player who was in this event, I'd like to say thank you very much to all of them, and I'm sure all of the players echo my sentiments.
Well, we do in the booth as well. We found a little snack cover back there with fresh fruit today, some juices, you know, coffee, Gatorades, very much appreciated. It's the little things that make some of these events stand out, and this one I remember for sure.
There you go. After watching those two shots, I think, Tom, you know, maybe just a little bit of the stepladder, you know, a little bit of early jitters. Got those in a little bit. Those two shots, much better.
Like you gave that one a little more at the bottom, a little more room as well maybe, and you know what, same result.
Now, Pete's had that light swisher going on all day long. Well, that's carried more than it has not for Pete today, that's for sure. That noise you hear while these guys aren't bowling is Mike Bailey staying warm over there on 31 and 32. As you can see, we're on 23 and 24. Pair hasn't been used all day. Just for the stepladder here.
Used in qualifying for A squad and B squad. But nothing through match play. Well, not match play, through additional qualifying rounds today, as Tom said. So their first 21 and 22 was an intriguing pair throughout the day. But went out to touch that one this afternoon. First miss for Pete.
Yeah, pretty good shot.
What'd you see in that one, Tom? Anything special, or?
Just, you know, the ball got behind it just a little bit. We talked about how Pete's axis rotation lets the ball get down the lane, and that one got just a little bit long and got behind the head pin, put the 6 right around the 10. You know, could have been just a little bit firm there, maybe. I don't think I'd make any kind of adjustment off of a shot like that, unless it happens, you know, again. Tom got that one right.
Chance to double and get it back within 2. On a weak 8.
Got that one just a little bit further right. Still a lot of bowling left. Tom going to be down 23 here through 4 frames.
We also talked a lot this weekend about how difficult the carry is. Tom, what was it? Was there different tricks you did to try to get the ball to go through the pins? Correct? Just, I mean, soften up speed, change. What did you do to try to knock? I mean, because we saw a ton of 7s and 10s and 8s and 9s.
Yeah, today the difference I made from what I did yesterday during qualifying is I tried to stay much straighter. Yesterday I think I got a little bit too far left. Oh, trip 4 there for Tom. Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday afternoon when I sat in. I think I got a little bit too far left during qualifying and couldn't quite get it to shape right. Today, you know, if you look, other than, you know, Pete's kind of an outlier. Pete's always the furthest left in the field. Everybody else was a little bit further right. Yeah, JJ was further left, but those guys more touch. I tried to use my power today and stay further right, and
He doesn't trip to 4.
yeah, Pete didn't like that one. You could tell from his reaction in just a little bit. A couple of times today that hit resulted in a 4-9. Pete will gladly take just the 4 pin and make that spare, retain a 22 pin lead. You know, we watched early in the block how Chris Barnes, it seemed like he always got off to a really good start, being hard and firm. That's kind of what I tried to do today. Pete doesn't really like to do that, so Pete's over here. Oh, that's a pretty good shot there.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. Pete's not the guy we normally see go hard and firm, but what he did on the ballot pattern this year at the World Series of Bowling, I think shocked us all. I mean, he just crushed him going hard and firm. I don't think any of us have seen that in quite a few years. So he's got that little trick in the bag, but he hasn't had to pull it out here. As you mentioned, Tom, a few of your other players did just try to go right up and at him.
That's a better shot out of Tom. This strike here will take it to a 2-pin match, actually.
You know, there's got to be a lot of history on lanes between these two players. This part of the country.
Yeah,
regional action, other action as well.
Yeah, Tom from Decatur, Illinois. Pete, of course, from St. Louis, just a couple hours apart. I'm sure these guys have bowled each other several times in tournaments around the Midwest and actually all over the country here on the PBA50 Tour this year. Really good shot there. Tom looks comfortable
big time
now.
quality there. That was way different than frame 2.
Yeah, he doesn't look as tentative as he did there early in the match. I think he's seeing the lane right now, and he's going to be aggressive and go up and make some really good shots. And he's put some pressure on Pete now. Let's see how Pete responds. Likes it.
He's got some fans here. His good buddy Donnie's in the building. Been here the last couple of days out of Memphis. Rooting him on, and quite a few others as well.
Giving that one the little oomph. Get that 10 out there, 6 into the 10.
I gotta believe Pete's probably the favorite in the building, right? I mean, you know, Barnes has been here a lot. He might get a few fans, but you know, fans don't know JJ too much. They know Mike Bailey a little bit. He bowls a ton in this region. It sure sounds like Pete might be the fan favorite to win this thing here today. He's got a little lead. Can he increase it?
Oh, that was a little in.
And he trips the 4-2.
Pete gets the break there.
Yeah, they all even out, right? The breaks, that's one apiece.
Yeah. I got to say that the local favorites are going to be Chris Barnes and Pete Weber. You know, Chris has bowled in this. You know, I mean, they've been holding regionals here. I think this is their 28th.
Yeah, he's probably bowled most of them.
Chris has probably bowled most of them. So Chris is a fan favorite, and Pete. Oh, he got that one a little right. Does it get there? No.
No, 2-8.
It's like we talked about, Craig. For me, miss all week was in. I threw some shots that were in that I thought, oh, there's no way they're going to hold, and they did. This 46-foot Petraglia pattern.
It's not been easy to spare this week. Got to make sure you get both of them with the ball. There he does. Nicely done.
234 max now. Pete pacing 240 already.
Yeah, spare strike Pete's in the 240s. So all Tom can do is get as much as you can here and force Pete to mark.
Yeah. As I've said, we've seen some nasty leaves on not so bad hits here.
I mean, 9 miss for Pete would be 235, even if Tom strikes out.
Yeah. So first things first, Tom. Oh. Well, that's going to do it. Winner of our first match is going to be Pete Weber. Providing something disastrous like a ball off the ankle for a gutter ball or a foul. Pretty solid game there from Tom. Just 2 of them. He got just a little bit right there on the right lane. That light swish 4-pin and the 2-8 there in the 9th. Looks like he's going to try something here. He took a little bit of a step left. 223, a very solid score on the pattern that we've seen this week. Pete's not taking any chances.
Nope. Stay behind the line, just do anything, and there's our winner. So Pete Bailey out of St. Louis going to take on Pete Weber out of St. Louis going to take on Mike Bailey out of Carlton, Texas.
Made one of my little slips there.
It's got to be on my first mistake all weekend, so that's all right.
I would say it's your first mistake at the stepladder.
I think so.
.244, 223, Pete Weber over Tom Adcock.
give him a nice round of applause and send him off.
So that's Mike wanting to finish. Mike wanting to finish the match, put the pressure on Pete.
You like that call?
I do.
About 18-9, the crowd yelling a hook.
Pete getting that light swisher that he's been carrying so well today. Yeah, Craig, I like to finish. I like the opportunity to get up and strike out and shut my opponent out.
Yeah, shut him out, or at least post a number, make him know,
Yep.
make him do something. Okay.
Yep, I like to close that match out first.
Oh, that was a quality shot. Nothing but a 7-pin. Still got a pretty good knee bend for a guy in his late 50s. And as tall as he is, too, to be able to get down at the line like that, that's a really good knee bend.
Yeah, 7-time regional titleist here in the Southwest region, so.
I don't know. You've been a lot of regions, Tom, but I've been around quite a few, and I think the Southwest might just be the toughest region there is out there. You start getting all those guys from Texas and all the titleists that you got to go up against like every week in and week out. It gets pretty tough. What are your thoughts on that?
You know, to be honest with you, every region's tough. Every region's got national title holders. You know, back in the 90s and 2000s when I started bowling, I thought it was the Midwest. Now you could, you know, it'd be hard to argue against Texas with all the people that have moved down to Texas. You know, we'll find out in January, won't we? When they have the RPI, we'll see which team wins.
Well, he didn't throw urethane at all during practice.
Yeah, he'd been throwing it all day.
He went flat 7 and 5-10.
You know, to finish our thought about the toughest region, I guess, you know, the top 50 in points aren't allowed, but the Central region actually won the team event back in January. Oh, that looked like it was a little.
Got a handful of that too.
Yeah, I thought he missed a little right there, but you know, with his slower ball speed, throwing that big strong ball, there might be a little bit of friction out there now to the right. That's just going to open him up for Pete. That looked like it was. Pete's got a little bit going on right now.
He's got the Troy Lent, right? He can miss right, he can miss left. He can.
Why'd you have to go there?
It's too easy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's what he's got right now. I mean, it sure looked like the shot on 24. He went right. That shot he tugged, and they both struck.
Mike needs to just forget about those first 2 frames. Just keep making good shots. He's been all over the pocket. That's
there
really good there.
So maybe just
pat himself on the back there.
A touch of loft, getting the ball going right to left off his hand. John Janowitz and Chris Barnes staying loose over on lanes 31 and 32. Barnes will be up next. Janowitz, our tournament leader here in Jonesboro.
A lot of bowling left here, so Mike just needs to keep making good shots. Oh, he went with way more loft there. Caught a whole handful of that one.
Carmen Silvino, telephone. Carmen Silvino, telephone.
At least it didn't happen right in the middle of somebody's shot. Uh-oh. Okay. Thought maybe that was going to hook. Covers the 247 there.
A couple of strikes right here, and Pete puts a ton of pressure on
Yeah.
Bailey in this match early.
Yeah, if he can throw a couple of strikes here, he's almost putting Mike Bailey into the must strike.
Pete doubles, do you think Bailey goes to the purple?
I think he's pretty much committed to the reactive.
Okay. I don't think you can throw much better than that right there.
Yeah. No reaction from Pete that he didn't like it at all. He's got that little step off to the right after he lets it go now, and as he's aging, doesn't post it like he used to. That's pretty good right there. Mr. Weber looks pretty comfortable on this championship pair, doesn't he?
He sure does. Front 5 for Pete. .244 game 1 to .223 for Tom Adcock. That looked much better.
Yeah.
Oh, that grabbed. I like that one.
I was watching Mike there as he turned around and he mouthed the word slow. So. I didn't pay attention to what Mike did in his 8 minutes of practice out here on the championship pair. I don't know if he tried to create a little hook, and that's why he went to the reactive. Looks like that. Looks like an eternity pie as well. You know, I don't know. I didn't see, like I said, I didn't see his 8 minutes of practice. I don't know if that purple just didn't even look close, but he threw it all day long today, from what I saw. It's a lonesome feeling when you get out there. These frames fly by when you don't have much of a look. Covers the 7 there. Still doesn't take away from a solid week.
Yeah, 4th through the first 8 games of qualifying. A, B combined to +202. Comes in here 3rd. It was pretty much in the top 5 the majority of the tournament. Pretty consistent, pretty solid across the board.
Yeah, pretty stout field to finish 4th. Oh, he got that one right. Pete just getting the 2.
Yeah, 208 the max for Mike Bailey. Pete's pacing 220s.
Certainly don't want to relax too much.
The fans want a 300. There's no question about that. Pete just wants to win the game. Take on Chris Barnes and then John Janowicz. That one looks inside down lane, but it held too.
Been talking about it the whole time I've been in the booth. I think the miss for the righties is left. Yeah. Mike's just lost. Only the one strike. Gone high every other time, except for that light Swisher 510 and this, the couple of 7 pins he left. The 4 pin just kind of laid in the gutter. Almost looks like he's trying to make it strike.
Tried something different. Just throw it out there and see if it'll hook back, and it doesn't. So yeah, he's just in a tough spot. So Pete Weber's going to advance. Going to take on Chris Barnes. Where do you see Barnes attacking this pair? We see where Pete's at. Pete's in the middle lane. Is Chris just going to go dead right, or is he going to get inside him?
I don't know. We'll have to pay attention to his 8 practice shots he gets here. We've seen Chris do both this week. The start of blocks, he used that duo. The start of every block, today, and was playing firm, up 10, 11, 12. Now they've had all that practice.
Yeah, so this is
2
probably
matches bowled on it.
like maybe game 3 of qualifying, kind of right now.
Yeah, probably pretty close.
As far as lane play out there, how many balls went down the right side? I mean, we only had 3 a pair for the most part, 4 in the round of 16.
Yeah, that made him break down a little bit different every round. Pete's been throwing, like I said, been pretty much using this gem all day long.
That was about a bar and a half right at the rangefinder and still got back.
With this match completely in hand, I'm surprised that he hasn't tried something different. He's thrown that gem pretty much all day today, but during qualifying, he threw some other bowling balls. I'm surprised.
Yeah, we've noticed that all summer long. Pete seems to be the guy that he just doesn't usually throw that test shot where you do, Barnes does, and Pete just, hey, you know what? I'm striking with the ball. I'm not messing around. And we've said a lot in the booth this summer. It's like, well, maybe I'll try something different. Nope. He sticks with it.
Oh. Boy, I've been out there. Happened at the U.S. Open for me this year. One of them games that I bowled 140, and man, it's just no fun.
Yeah, everybody's watching you, right?
Yeah.
Nowhere to hide.
Yep. But still a great week for Mike Bailey. The only 3 people that are going to finish ahead of him this year are a couple of the all-time great Hall of Famers in Pete Weber and Chris Barnes, and the reigning PBA50 Rookie of the Year.
He was also a Hall of Famer.
Also a USBC Hall of Famer as well, yep. I keep talking about the PBA Hall of Fame. USBC Hall of Fame's a good one to be in as well.
And all 3 of the players left are in USBC Hall of Fame, I do believe.
Doing a little fast track here to get it done. We talked about Pete. You said, how he hasn't tried balls. He just keeps trying to strike with the other one. Well, he's only thrown 1 strike the back half of this game. Now, granted, frames 8, 9, and 10 there. Really no pressure on him at all.
Right.
But you don't want to get too relaxed, you know what I mean? And there, Pete with a better shot there. 223 to 146.
Yeah, match play, we were still tied. And then the 2 guys we picked for that last game, they tied. So when we get to Bill's house, we'll have our skee ball roll off. We didn't do it last year, so we did it this year. So it was a best of 3. Brian won 1, I won 1, then we tied, of course, and had to have a 4th game. So
All right, back to the action here in Jonesboro. Chris Barnes deciding to start the match on the left lane.
So that just mean he likes the right lane better?
I think so.
Oh, I mean,
Good start.
can't dislike that one either.
Yeah. Don't know if maybe he just wanted to switch things up for Pete. You know, Pete had started the 2 previous matches, but we got the answer to our question. Chris is going to play him left.
Yeah.
Started with the reality there. 20 out to about 10. Basically right on
That
top
was
of Pete.
much quicker. Did you see that as well? It sure looked a lot quicker off the hand to me on that one.
Yeah, well, yeah, and his approach looked quicker as well. I wonder if he was, that was something in the subconscious, you know, hey, I haven't thrown a shot in a while, better make sure I get my speed up.
Yeah, don't be slow.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Can't second guess a lot that this guy does. He's, you know, just unbelievably talented when it comes to throwing a bowling ball. That one was in.
Yeah, you got away with one on that lane earlier. He tripped to 4. That one, not quite as fortunate.
Yeah, like we said, basically a whole nother game bowled. Well, Pete sat and waited. I wonder if, you know, without all those practice shots, if that might push through there.
So, I mean, if you're sitting there waiting to bowl like Pete was and you see all that play, would you just do like a 2-1 automatic?
Absolutely, I would. Both of those shots, though, from Pete to me looked a little bit firmer than he was at the end of that match with Mike Bailey. Barnes. Oh,
And I think he missed just a touch right. Like you've been talking, there's not a miss there, right?
yeah. I think Chris feels very fortunate to just be shooting at the 2-pin right now.
Yeah, it could have been 2-8, could have been 2-8-10, could have been a 2-10. It's a spare.
Yep. Even match through 2 frames. Yeah, Chris is a little deeper than that. Even that, you know, that was 22-23. Really good shot.
So Pete Weber, 244, 223 win over Tom Adcock, and a 223 winner over Mike Bailey. So Chris, got to believe, you need to be shooting in the 230s.
Oh my. Wow. That's the first really, really bad break we've seen here in our championship step ladder. Solid 9 for Pete.
See, we got some people rooting for Pete in the chat, some Barnes fans. Who's everybody rooting for out there? Let's get a little tally going. Chris or Pete here in the semifinal match, waiting to take on John Janowicz for this title here in Jonesboro.
Pretty good shots there from Pete. Strike, 4-pin, solid 9 on the strike. Chris, 2 really good shots on the left lane. He was errant in the second. Over here on the right lane. some noise from. Sounded like some noise down there.
Yeah,
on the
there's a
low
big
end.
game room, entertainment center, kids down there playing a little birthday room. So there's a few squeals, but it hasn't been too bad here. We're down towards the higher end of the house.
Just like that one. Maybe. Did the little curtsy there. Happy to get the 5 out. Yeah, nobody did anything wrong there. It's just
No.
when it's so quiet in here, any little distraction, any little noise is amplified. Chris taking a re-rack here. It's the same thing on the set, you know, when the smallest noise when you're bowling on a, you know, we're on a TV show now, even when you're on the, you know, the Fox set, it's so quiet that the smallest little sound can really distract you. When you're bowling and qualifying and there's all the noise going in the center, nothing, you know, really
Right.
bugs you. But man,
Yeah, there's
when it's
no white
quiet,
noise here.
yeah, that's why we try to talk so quiet here while the bowlers are bowling. We're only sitting about 20 feet from the bowlers here. That's pretty good. Oh!
Little trip 4 on the left lane. That's the third one we've seen today.
Wow.
A replay of this.
Oh, the guy that never gets a break. Gets a break. There. Pete not showing much emotion. Normally Pete gets a little bit more fired up. Both bowlers bowling a very solid game so far.
Yeah, 269, 280 match scores. That 9-pin for Pete. And frame number 3. It's the difference in this game.
Yeah, Pete likes that one. I think we're in for 2 more really high-scoring matches myself, Craig.
Starting to look that way. I could watch these guys bowl all day. This is quite a match we got going on here. A couple Hall of Famers going at it. 2 major winners this year. We've got 4 major titles on the final 3 players here. So that's just from this season.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a pretty good final 3.
Yeah. Chris, of course, won the PBA50 World Championships in Jackson. Pete won the PBA50 Players Championship at Budmore Lanes. JJ started the season off with the USBC Senior Masters win and ended it with the PBA50 TOC title.
That's got to get some help. All right, that one didn't look quite right off the hand, but the result was fine. Just looked like it was maybe moved in and slow rolled a little bit. Or maybe I was just seeing things.
Yeah, I didn't. He was kind of in my way there. I wasn't looking at the screen. I was looking at the lane, and he was kind of right in my way. So, at the end of the day, it's a strike. Pete likes that one. Oh. needs to make just a little bit of a move left. That was pretty good. All that extra traffic, all the practice. Chris is right on top of him now, maybe a little bit further left of him.
Chris taking a second re-rack of the championship match.
Max score for Chris, 280. Max score for Pete Weber, 248. Another really good shot from Chris.
Not much Pete can do now, but hope for some help out of Chris Barnes. Chris has a heck of a ball game going. Pete's max is now 248. That's a winner.
That was really good. Just tell you how smart Chris Barnes is. I've been, I bowled with him one of the rounds today in the this morning, right next to him the second round, and I didn't see him throw this ball all day long. Bowls his way all the way up to the 2 seed, and then throws a ball that I didn't see him throw all day in the championship match. Oh.
Now Pete bowled a heck of a game. A couple 10 pins, a 4 pin, a 9 pin. Not sure you change a whole lot, if you had a second chance at it.
The only thing Pete might change is that the round ball hit the round pins just a touch differently to knock them over. Pete didn't throw any bad shots by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, as you picked up on, his light mixers seem to be his higher carry percentage, and the 4 pin, the 9 pin, those were high flush.
Yep.
Maybe just a touch lighter and then a different ball game.
Pete just fast tracking, getting out of here. Still another solid event for Mr. Pete Weber.
Yeah, having a pretty good year. He's got a win on the 50 Tour, a major, picks up a third place finish here in a very strong field in the Super Regional in Jonesboro.
He's going to be taking home $3,500 for his efforts today. Chris looks really good. Be interesting to see if he...
That was the exponent there, wasn't it? I think he did make a little change.
Yep, a little change there. That was the exponent.
Just squares up a little bit.
Yeah, then going right back to the reality here again. As we talked, there was 12 shots thrown in between the last match. There's going to be 10 thrown this time. JJ's going to get 10 shots on the pair.
And this would be, we've seen this matchup a few times this year. This is one of your ultimate chess matches between two guys that really know how to pick a lane apart. You're going to see a couple different balls thrown, I imagine a couple different lines, and they're going to jump on something. And a little heavyweight battle here.
Yep, I think Chris is pretty much committed to that reality.
Well, what if JJ comes in and
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
about done with our practice shots for John Janowitz here as we get ready for the championship match here in Jonesboro. Super Regional, 10,000 up for grabs.
Yeah, and the bowling ball report from JJ Warrior Elite.
Okay.
That's the green one. Had a wild streak up there, a Rotogrip wild streak. And of course the Black Widow Ghost, you know, you can't miss that one.
That's his newest ball, and that one's a couple years old. He's not a big driller. He's not, I mean, he's, and we've talked about it multiple times with him. He is a numbers guy. He wants, you know, certain diffs, certain everything, and 16 pound still throws. Chris only threw a couple shots to stay loose down in the practice pair. They shut that one off now, and he's getting some stretching in, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, and I did notice that Chris brought a gold label over with him and set that up there. That was a ball that Chris went to later on in the blocks as he got further left.
55 total titles for Chris Barnes, 31 regionals, 19 national stops, 5 PBA50s. We got 2 regionals and 2 national stops for JJ. So on paper, Chris is your big favorite.
I don't know about that because I think John's got two regional titles.
Right.
I think John's only bowled 2 regionals.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, on paper, you know what? Chris has got him crushing titles, but you start looking at overall resumes, it's a different ballgame.
That guy's worked here 25 years.
You know, both guys spent a lot of time on Team USA. John Janowitz just for the 10th time as a 50-year-old this year made the team in Vegas back in January. You know, both USBC Hall of Famers. Chris, you know, his resume is just about as long as anybody's out here. But Janowitz, he's no slouch. For you viewers that are just tuned in to learn a little bit about JJ here tonight, you're going to see one heck of a player, one heck of a match, and Barnes is going to start things off, and here we go.
Didn't see which ball he grabbed. Yep, that's the reality.
That ball looked like it hooked and as soon as it touched the lane.
Looked like he went with just a little bit of loft.
Yeah,
that one kind of got behind the head pin. Pretty good shot.
Not quite to the dots.
All right. Looks like JJ's going with the wild streak.
I don't remember what that ball was.
That is the wild streak. That was pretty good.
Who made that one?
Road grip.
Was it? Yeah, it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like JJ's pre-shot and just kind of gives a little swing there and gets things set. A couple waggles. These guys are just peppering that dartboard down there.
That's how you want to start off a championship match. A couple of shots just like that. Staying with the reality. With that little bit of a light swisher, we saw that quite a few of his shots. His match against Pete.
"31 regional titles for Chris Barnes in his career. Looking for number 32. And will be the highest paying one. I think he's probably won. 10 grand up for grabs here this afternoon.
There's a really good shot from Chris.
Looks like he might have moved just a little bit farther left, right? Shaped a little more at that rangefinder.
Yeah, that one definitely came off of it just a little bit more.
That's one thing that's not easy to see back here is the subtle hand changes. It's set up for these players. We're right behind him. We don't really have that side view. But there was definitely a change in release there for Chris on that shot.
Light swisher there from JJ after his first two were just dead flush. Kind of getting a little loud in here. Doesn't phase JJ.
That one looks like a could have 4-pinned.
That was
But it doesn't.
definitely a little higher flush than the first two. Oh, another
Range
one.
10.
Wow. That was really good. That one looked a little, a little bit slower to me. It shaped really good in the
Very
6.
control.
Just right around the 10.
Do your job, 6-pin.
Can't throw it much better than that.
Just got to make the spare. Continued coverage coming up here on Bowl TV over the next week. We've got PBA50 and Waxahachie, another RPI for the Southwest region. Got the Kingpins Family Fun Center RPI in South Glen Falls, New York. PWBA Regional next weekend. That's 3 events, plus Elias Cup coverage starting on Friday through next Wednesday, all on Bowl TV. So next weekend, don't plan on doing anything but watching bowling because we're going to have 4 events for you starting on Friday. And 3 more the weekend after.
Of course, that one was more of a 10-pin. That one
Yeah,
was
that was in.
That one didn't shape. The 6-pin there that time just laid in the gutter. Chris's max now 258. Yeah.
Was that?
He just came back and said ball change.
So exponent right and a little firmer?
I don't know that he'll move right if he goes with the exponent. Boy, the way JJ looks right now, I don't think it's going to matter. I don't know. I saw Chris take a gold label up there.
I didn't see him throw it at all. 258 max score for Chris Barnes. You see
Still,
JJ front 5.
There's still a couple balls up there with the scoring I can't see. I think just going off of what JJ's throwing and what Chris is going to try to do, I think it's going to be the gold label. That's my guess.
So
We'll
something a little bit cleaner to save some energy.
Yep, little cleaner. Come off of it just a little bit quicker. Oh wow.
That was 23-8.
Yeah, JJ's last shot on that lane, you said almost could have 4-pinned, and that one almost could have 2-8-10. When you're in the right part of the lane, doing the right thing, Nice and loose. You get those hits.
Oh, I think I know what he's
Oh,
writing in his
he's-
notebook after this shot.
Yeah, he's going with the exponent. I was wrong.
I think he's writing, don't do that again on lane 23. Yeah, Chris changing thumbs, going to the exponent.
Chris pretty much at a must strike here. Stepping out like he likes it. That one goes through the pins really good.
I liked it. I'm a big fan of that bowling ball. What we've seen of it over the last month or so.
Yeah, a lot of guys use it often and use it well. Oh, wow.
Hall of Fame carry. Could have been just a horrible break.
Yeah. Still got a fighting chance.
That's your 58 out there. He said that was almost a 2.810 the last shot for JJ, so he's got to be conscious of that. Can't get too far deep and send too far right. You're going to leave a split, so. See what kind of shot he makes here.
I'm going to go with a really good one. Oh. Solid 9.
Tom Adcock finishes 5th this week. Mike Bailey 4th. Pete Weber 3rd. Championship match here, John Janowicz, Chris Barnes in Jonesboro. Southwest Super Open, $10,000 first place prize. And another regional title. Could be the 3rd regional title for JJ. $5,500 for 2nd, $3,500 for 3rd this week, $2,500 4th, and $2,000 for 5th place. Solid prize fund for a regional, super regional as they call it. These super regionals started, what, about 8-9 years ago, I think?
Well, Jonesboro's has been considered a super regional to be going on 20 years. Back when I started coming down here in 2004 or 5 was the first time I made the trek down here, and it paid $5,000 back then.
Okay. I guess I'm thinking like some of the 10 cares wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, they started those.
Kind of one in every region now. Get close. That was a better shot. 258, 279 max scores. JJ with the lead. Looking for his 5th overall title this year.
Well, I'm going to start looking at the roster. If JJ's in a regional, I'm just not going to enter.
Is it 3 for 3? I know he's won 2, but I didn't know if he's only bowled 2.
Yeah, I think he's only bowled the 2 regionals.
That's disgusting.
I mean, I could be wrong. He could have bowled something down in the south when I wasn't around, but
yeah, I don't think so. I mean, he won. He bowled right before the Masters, and he was on tour all summer.
yeah, he bowled.
So, yeah.
He bowled. He flew out to California. Spent some time with Missy and Drew Parkin. Won his very first regional he bowled, and the other one that I know that he bowled was at Lyle Zykes' place there in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Okay. I think it was only the
in
second one.
tour, and he won that one over Chris. I finished 3rd there.
I wasn't going to remind you.
Pretty good shot,
yeah.
4-pin. Chris has not bowled a bad match here. You know.
Well, I mean, back to what you were talking about even with Pete, I think sometimes you just throw them almost too good, right? The high flushes just don't carry as well there. It's those light mixers. But it's tough to line up that way, right? Because you bring the 2 8-10s into play.
I mean, I think if you were to go up there and ask Chris right now through 8 frames, I think the only one that he really wants back was maybe the one in the 5th. I mean, the one in the 1st and the one in the 4th were absolute ring 10s. Just sent the 6 flying around the 10. That one, really, really good. Congratulations, JJ.
So will this be a third region he's won in as well?
Yeah. That's not bad.
Kind of reminiscent of what Buttripp did a few years back. Just traveled the country and won everything bowled. Pretty impressive game and tournament here for JJ. And the question just keeps going. What if he'd have bowled the last 20 years? Last 25 years? What would have been different? He's shown he can compete out here with these guys on the 50 tour this year with 2 majors. What we believe is 3 for 3 in regional since becoming. He had a couple other regional titles as a non-member. It's not like he's never won a regional, but you know, this is his year to dedicate to bowling, 100%. Not just traveling, you know, doing lane maintenance. And it's been a pretty fascinating and amazing year for John Janowitz so far.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's surprised by it.
No.
You know, we knew that John was going to be always near the top when he came out here. I mean, let's not kid anybody. It's not easy to just come out here and win. You know, for him to come out and win his very first event. You know, this is still a Hall of Fame tour. You know, it's full of Hall of Famers.
Absolutely. He said Chris bowled a great game. Just sometimes it's just not meant to be, unfortunately. JJ did exactly what he needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make it. Trick shot.
Yeah. Well, he made the 4.67 earlier today when I was bowling with him. Let's see if we can do it again.
He's going to give it a run. Look for the spare ball. Why not?
Oh, I bet. No, he's grabbing. I wonder if he's grabbing another thumb. He's going to try to throw 2 balls at it. Maybe he only had 1 thumb up there.
Oh.
I think he is going to do the 2 balls.
All right. Oh, that's got a chance. That's got a chance.
Oh, and he made the 7-10. He made the 7-10 out of the big 4.
Good stuff.
The beautiful trophy, Ms. Corinne will be presenting Mr. John Janowitz. We're going to get Fred Elliott up from both TV to do a little player interview as well.
John, we've done this a few times this year. Come on over, let's make sure we get a camera and see your smile. I don't see my smile. We do have a trophy for you here. Go ahead and grab that. Not sure everybody heard that. This is the first PBA50 title in this building, and it goes to John Janowitz. John, the first question I got for you: how many regionals have you bowled since you became a member? 3. How many regionals have you won since you became a member? 3. Thanks for running the regional tour out here, John. And we talked about here on the stream. Everybody wondered what it's going to be like for John Janowitz his PBA tour, and I think you've proven that you're worthy of your 5th title, 2 majors, 3 regionals, and we're only, you know, unfortunately, we still got more events to go. But what a great first year! Congratulations again. Now I want to thank a few sponsors, say a few things. So go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ first and foremost. Also want to thank everyone here at Hijinks Club. Like I said, Corinne, Stacy, Kelly, everybody does a fantastic job. This is actually my first time here, and like I said, it's a very big sponsor and supporter of the PBA for many, many years. And knowing that this regional was going on, I thought it'd be a very good idea. You know, it'd be great to just come here and see the place for the first time. And I also want to thank, like I said, I do want to thank Fancy Williams and Company Sportswear for helping me with the jerseys. So I've been living in the past for way too long with old polo shirts, but thanks for that. And like I said, thanks for also for Tony Tony Land for continuing to host a lot of these PBA events. I really appreciate the hard work that's involved in setting up all these events. Thank you very much as well too.
Well, we had an amazing Stepladder here this year in Jonesboro, a lot of Hall of Famers, a lot of titles in that top 5. John, you're the champion again one more time. What do you think they're going to win next year? Any ideas, any thoughts yet? Are you looking to 2024?
Actually, no. I'm going to talk with Chris Chartrand about that. And also, I do want to thank, Chris Chartrand and Kegel and everybody that, Don Agent, No Dukes, everybody that's helped fill in the gap while I'm gone, over the course of the summer. But, we haven't talked about it yet. I'm hopefully, I'd like to go home the whole summer tour again, but if not, just use vacation to, at least bowl major, just to, take out the Super Bowl. That was actually my favorite events all last year. So, we'll cross everything.
I got one tip for you. You might want to make a phone call quick because there's a lot of players on tour that are calling things right now saying John's going to be too busy next year. We don't want him out here. Congratulations again, John, deserving champion. Good luck.